It's the book of Ecclesiasticus to the book of Sirach, chapter 39, and the point is verse 28. And it reads, "There be spirits that are created for vengeance, which in their fury lay on sore strokes. In the time of their destruction they pour out their force and appease the wrath of him that made them." Verse 29, "Fire and hail and famine and death, all these were created for vengeance." Verse 30, "Teeth of wild beasts and scorpions, serpents and the sword, punishing the wicked to destruction." I want to start off by giving all praises, all honor, and all glory to call Loyam La Yahweh, Shem Yahushai Ba'Shem, Rachakadosh B'Katam. Double honors to my apostles, the elders of the great millstone who teach and do rule well. Peace and salutations to the Akim, across the four corners of the earth, pushing the truth with faith and with sincerity, as well as risking their lives and their freedom to do so, now more so than ever. Shalom to the Akwath and the Akim out there listening and learning. Lord, willingly this is edifying. Shalom to the Israelite foreigners scattered abroad in the land of other nations, appearing like the other nations, who subscribe to this truth. To you I say Shalom. It's the brother Yahweh Sap out of GMS Cleveland Church, a fellow servant. Come at you with another lesson through the Spirit and through the power of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. And came across this article, but Slovakia. I came across this article, and the elder Yashawamba from Dallas, he got a page called Two Through, where he posts different things that's going on in the world. And I wasn't aware of this, but he had a video with a Jake woman, she was basically in the spirit because she was breaking down, how this individual here, his name is Ezekiel, and that's what caught my attention on the video, because she caught that his name was Ezekiel, and she brought out Ezekiel chapter 9, and it made me think of Sirach chapter 39, because basically the Lord created this man to be a spirit of vengeance. She brought out the fact that how he name is Ezekiel, and he went on a rampage, and ultimately it's all the will of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. It talks about the Lord judgeth every day. Matter of fact, let me get this. It's the book of Zephaniah chapter 3, and the Lord used that individual Ezekiel. He put a spirit on him to enact judgment. This is Ezekiel chapter 3, and the point is verse 5. "The just Lord is in the midst thereof. He will not do iniquity. Every morning doth he bring his judgment to light. He faileth not, but the unjust knoweth no shame." So basically they said this individual who was in the spirit, he went on a rampage and murdered a few individuals. It reads, "Bloody rampage, Memphis mass shooter Ezekiel Kelly, 19, arrested after live streaming rampage on Facebook with 4 dead and 3 hurt." A suspected gunman who live streamed a bloody shooting rampage has been arrested after killing 4 and injuring 3. 7, completion. Police say the Memphis Police Department put the entire city on lockdown before Ezekiel Kelly, 19, was taken into custody after a multi-state manhunt following his alleged Facebook Live shooting spree. And I believe just the other day, this is not the only individual that was on a rampage, because I believe it was something that was happening in Canada with 2 individuals that basically supposed to attacked 10 people, with a knife or something like that, or gutted 10 people with a knife. I might be mixing it up, but I know this situation is not the only occurrence of violence recently to be in the headlines of the news. So the Lord is bringing forth judgment. Scriptures talk about, but wicked man do not understand of judgment. Matter of fact, let me get that. This is Proverbs chapter 28, verse 5. "Evil men understand not judgment, but they that seek the Lord understand all things." So it talks about a spiritual man understand of all things. Unction to know all things. And those that's in the truth and in this knowledge, we know that the Lord, can judge an individual through another individual, because it reads the scriptures that he is the Father of spirits. So, Salakia. That being said, I'm gonna bring out that Ezekiel, because this is what she quoted. This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 9, and I'm going to start at verse 4, Ezekiel 9:4. And the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahshua said unto him, Go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem, and set a mark upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and that cry for all the abominations that be done in the midst thereof. It reads verse 5, And to the others he said in my hearing, Go ye after him through the city and smite. Let not your eyes spare, neither have ye pity. Slay utterly old and young, both maids and little children and women, but come not near any man upon whom is the mark, and begin at my sanctuary. Then they began at the ancient men which were before the house. Verse 7, And he said unto them, Defile the house and fill the courts with the slain. Go ye forth. And they went forth and slew in the city. So again, that goes back to because you got the mark, or the tuwa, meaning exemption from judgment, and then you got the charagma, which is the mark of basically it's gonna be the tuwa is the mark of exemption. That's why it talks about going around the city and basically touching on any man that had the mark. But all those that had the mark or the charagma was able to be touched. So that being said, she brought out another fact that how this happened on September 7th, and when you read the scripture, it's Ezekiel chapter 9 verse 7, or 5 to 7. So it was spiritual, and she was in the spirit, and she was just lightweight. It was beautiful to see, because it's somebody that could actually, she's seeing the Lord has opened up her mind enough to see. Hopefully she has that fear and she repents, because again, the Lord tells you in the scriptures in the book of Psalms chapter 68, the Most High belongs to issues of death. So he could bring upon death to you, and he can save you from it. Matter of fact, I'm going to end on that. The book of Deuteronomy chapter 32, and I'm going to start at verse 39. This is Deuteronomy 32 and verse 39. See that I, even I am he, and there is no power with me. I kill and I make alive, I wound and I heal. Neither is there any that can deliver out of my hand. So that's what the scriptures talk about. It's a terrible thing to fall in the hand of it's a terrible thing to fall in the hands of the living power, because the Lord can make your death or your judgment slow and painful and agonizing. So yeah, so with all that being said, I just took it as a spiritual sign of the time. I was talking about how more violence was going to increase, but look at that's how it's spiritual. Like she was going into, if you look at this man's smile, she was like, if you go on his page, he doesn't have these weird ass smiles. Like he had this weird ass smile like that, and when he was in the police car, he had a weird ass smile. So Death angel jumped on this man through the power of Yahweh Shemiel Shah to judge those people. My brother was just bringing that out, and how far-fetched it may seem to some individuals. If you are a spiritual man looking at things with a spiritual eye, you see it for what it is, and you're gonna see the uptick and the increase of these things, because again, we're in a time of judgment. So if you're a so-called Black, Hispanic, Native American, Seminole, Indian, West Indian, or Haitian, I implore you to come back to the law, statutes, commandments of your power, Yahweh Shemiel Shah, or you will be destroyed. With that, I'm going to give all praises, all honor, and all glory to call Elohim, La Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Chakadosh B'Katam. Double honor to my apostles, the elders, the great ministers, who teach and do well. Peace and salutations to the Akim across the four corners of the earth, pushing this truth with faith and with sincerity, as well as risking their lives and their freedom to do so, not more so than ever. Shalom to the Akwatini Hakim out there listening and learning. Lord willingly, this was edifying. Shalom to the Israelite foreigners scattered abroad in the land of other nations, appearing like the other nations, with whom subscribe to this truth. To you, I say shalom. The next time I'm able to come on another lesson, I'm going to say shalom, shalom, and walk like a ball, shalom.